right in the middle of a new Fokker D7 4-channel build, but I wanted to take a few minutes out just to show you an amazing, I think what the kids are calling it these days is a hack, but it's basically a tip for installing the little all-in-one receivers that we use in a lot of our kits. It's not my idea. It's one that was provided by another John, great name, shortened to the point. Even us Jonathans have ours shortened because it's such a great name. But John in the UK actually, in passing, in fact, mentioned how he mounts his receiver, and I thought, why have I never thought of that before? Now, many of you, I'm sure, will watch this and you'll actually say, well, I do that anyway. Why didn't you know about that? And I just have to apologise if that is the case. But hopefully for some of you, it'll be a really, really good, almost kit-changing tip. So let me not waffle on anymore. Let me show you what I'm going to do. And it applies. Probably, I haven't tried it yet, but this tip applies to not only the standard brushed all-in-one unit, but also for the brushless one as well, which is slightly bigger than this. We'll have to see though. I'll check it out on my next build of a Banshee or something like that. Now, when you get one of these with a kit, or you buy it separately, you also get, if it's one of ours, a couple of little sticky pads. These are actually known as servo pads. They're double-sided. They've got a bit of depth to them. They're a bit spongy, which is great because you've got sort of a bit of contour and bits poking out on the bottom of the receiver. And you get two, and that's because we're terribly generous, and so you've got one spare. Should you muck up cutting them. Now I've actually marked here, there's a little, if you can see there, a little hatched square there. Now I always recommend taking a little notch out of that, of the sticky pad, only so it goes around the electronics that are in and around the motor port here, which is where the electronic speed controller is, just so that it doesn't get insulated, essentially, so it doesn't build up heat and cause a problem for the board. But let me just these pads also. I'll just cut them apart. There we go. These pads are also slightly too long, as you can see, for the board there. It ends. The board ends there, and the sticky pad continues. So what you can do is take the back edge off, like so. This is all standard. This is what we do. This is what's always been recommended. Get rid of that. But rather than cutting out that little hatched square there, what I'm actually going to do is cut two strips. So I'm going to cut a strip that's relatively narrow, like so, and not particularly straight, but that's not going to matter. And I'm also going to cut a strip down the middle, actually slightly wider than the hatched area that I've masked off, like so. And then I'm going to apply that to one side of the bottom of our all-in-one receiver, like so. And then I'm going to take the other one. In fact, I'm going to take this wider bit here, and I'm actually going to apply that to the other side, like so. And then this is the clever bit. So we've left a little channel down the center here. What we're actually going to do is take our power lead for the battery, and we're just going to pop it into that channel, like so. And then we're going to take our second pad, just cut the back of that down, So it's, where was it? Again, let me remember. So we'll cut the back of that off. So at 3mm. And then I'm going to apply that over our existing sticker, like so, on there. But what I'm going to do first, obviously, is take the other protective carrier material over. So what we're going to do is we're going to encase our power lead underneath the board. So let's do that. The other thing I'm doing is obviously trying to avoid putting any of these sticky pads anywhere near these cogs at the moment. So let me just push that all down. So we've now used both of the pads that have been supplied with the receiver, and we've now got our power lead sticking out the back of our board, and it's certainly long enough for the battery attachment, and it's now completely clear of these cogs. Now, if you've ever flown Microaces kits before, you know that sometimes something very frustrating happens in the fact that you get your battery plugged in, you get your leads tidied away, and you pop your hatch on, and either the elevator or the rudder won't work because one of the leads has fallen across the cogs at the end here and is stopping them from moving properly. So you have to take everything out, rejig everything inside, and put everything back on. This is no more true than with the rotary engine aircraft. I've got another pup that I'm building here, and you can see I've done it on this one. We've got the lead now coming out the back of the receiver that you can see deep in the recess of the fuselage there, and as you can see, it comes well out of the front here, so we can attach the battery, and then when the battery goes in, that goes into the cavity within the aircraft, and it is, as you can see, completely clear of the cogs at the front there. So it's an absolutely genius tip. We shouldn't have gone 11, 12, 13 years, however long it's been without it, but we've got it now thanks to John, and I can tell you all about it. As I said, if some of you are already using it, my apologies for not coming up with it beforehand, but it's your fault for not telling me. So we'll go with that. That's an absolute genius tip. So all I need to do now is take my sticky pad off the bottom there, and then pop my receiver in place where I need it within the Fokker D7.